Hi everyone. Today I'm going to make some blondies with some maple butter sauce to go on top of it. My sister and my daughter, they go to Applebee's all the time and talk about getting blondies. I've only tried it one time, and that was a couple of years ago after one of my foot surgeries. They had went and got one, and I tried a bite of it, and it was pretty good, so they keep talking about it, so I'm going to make it. So in my stand mixer fitted with the paddle attachment, you can use a handheld mixer, I'm going to put a half a pound, which is 2 sticks, of butter that is softened to room temperature. You don't want it melted, you just want to make sure it's good and soft. So this morning when I first got up, I just set it out of the refrigerator on the counter and just let it get soft. I'm going to get this going. And now, with this, I'm going to add a half a cup of white granulated sugar. And I'm going to add a whole cup of lightly packed brown sugar. I'm going to add this by hand to kind of crumble it a little bit. Now we want this to cream together. We're going to let it mix for about 4 minutes to make sure it gets light and fluffy. Now I'm going to scrape down my bowl and then let it finish creaming, just so everything, see there's still some butter on the paddle. Alright, that's all scraped down. Now I'm just going to cut it on about medium and let it finish creaming. Now excuse that noise in the background, but while that's mixing I have 2 cups of all-purpose flour. I'm going to add 1 teaspoon of kosher salt and 1 teaspoon of baking soda. And we're going to sift that together and mix it up, and then just set it aside. And while that's mixing, I'm going to tell you I'm using the white chocolate chips. I didn't have enough, and we went to 3 stores this morning and couldn't find any, and I'm surprised at that. So I'm going to be using the rest of the Baker's Premium White chocolate. I put a post on Facebook asking all of my cooking friends would it be alright to substitute this, and thanks JoJo. I'll link to her channel, answered me, and I did try it, and it did taste sweet and it didn't taste bitter, so I just chopped it up. And then I have also the white chocolate chips, but we'll need a cup and a half. Alrighty, that's done. I'm going to scrape down my bowl, get everything in the middle. Actually, we got to thinking this mixer may be about 15 years old. I've had it for a very, very long time, and I love it. Okay, with my mixer on low, I'm going to add 2 teaspoons of vanilla extract. I got flour all over it. Oh, all on my measures. And then we're going to add 2 eggs, one at a time. These are large eggs that has set out too and got to room temperature. I also keep my flour in the freezer, and I did set it out too. Just add your eggs one at a time. I'm going to scrape my bowl down again. And then we're going to start adding our flour, baking soda, and kosher salt mixture. What's that, boo? Me. Oh, I done thought I done had something dripping. That's funny, I was like, something's leaking. Alright, I have my mixture on low, and we want to slowly add flour, baking soda, and salt. Alright, that's blended. Let me get the camera re-angled and we'll mix in everything else. I can't believe my phone did that yesterday, because when you sent the text back and said, I was like, you asked me that question and I was just answering, and then I sent that, and then I was like, well, let me reread both of our texts and see, to make sure I was answering the right thing. So I reread yours. That looks fine. Reread mine. I'm like, in the afterlife. Why that changed that to in the afterlife is beyond me. Alright, I'm just going to scrape down the bowl and give it a good little stir too. Make sure I get the bottom of the bowl. Now I'm using pecans in mine. They're cheaper than walnuts and we all love pecans. So I'm adding 1.5 cups of chopped pecans. And 1.5 cups of white chocolate chips. Just going to stir that in and mix well. I have my oven preheating to 350 degrees. I've greased and floured. I actually use butter and flour for my baking dish. And my baking dish is an 8 by 12. Okay, that looks good and mixed. So I've buttered and floured my baking dish. Now if you use a different size pan, cooking times will vary. But I'm going to bake mine exactly 30 minutes. You really can't do the toothpick test because it probably won't come out clean. But you do not want to over bake these. You still want them to be just a little bit gooey. Because we're going to top it with the maple butter sauce and a scoop of vanilla ice cream. Grub and Nikki's standing around. We can't wait to try this. As soon as I get these in the oven, I'll meet y'all at the stove and we'll get started on the maple butter sauce. Just spread it out as even as you can. And I will check mine at 30 minutes. I say exactly 30 minutes. But I will check. You know, I do want them done. I just don't want them hard. Alright, in a preheated 350 degree oven, I'll set my timer for 30 minutes. And then I'll meet you at the stove to get started on the sauce. Okay, in my saucepan, I'm going to turn my heat on medium. And I'm using pure maple syrup. I hated to pay that much for pure maple syrup, but they say pancake syrup won't work. Or I'm sure it would, but it'd probably taste all imitation. So, I'm using, and I'm going to spill half of it on my counter, 1 cup of the pure maple syrup. And I have 2 tablespoons of butter. We're going to bring this to a boil over medium heat. We're going to let it boil for around 3 minutes. And then we're going to take it off the heat and let it get to room temperature. And then we're going to stir in some heavy cream. And if you hear background noise, football game's on. My son and Richard's favorite team. So I'll bring you back when this comes up to a boil. I do want to add, you don't want to walk away. You do kind of want to keep this stirred so it doesn't stick or burn. So I'll be back once it comes up to a boil. Alright, we're starting to come up to a boil. And like I said, I do have this on medium heat. Want to stay with it. As soon as I get it to a good boil, I'm going to start timing for 3 minutes. And then once we let this cool and we add our heavy cream and it cools down and you eat your dessert and all, you do want to store this in the refrigerator. Alright, see this kind of boil? And when I stir it continues, I'm going to start timing 3 minutes. Now I'll be back once that 3 minutes is up. Alright, we're about there. Be careful, and I wouldn't have small children around, because this is very hot. So now I'm just going to remove this, turn off the heat, and remove it from the heat. I'm going to let it cool down to room temperature, and then I'll be back when we add the cream. Mine did cook over them 30 minutes because when I inserted the toothpick in the middle, it came out doughy. It was still wet. So now, it'll come out clean, but it'll have crumbs on it, if that makes sense. So I've got it sitting on a wire rack. I'm going to let it cool for a little bit, and then we'll be back. I cut my blondies into squares and just got them on the rack to cool, and then we'll go finish the sauce. My sauce is cooled to room temperature, and it has gotten thick. And now we're going to add 4 tablespoons of heavy cream. I'm going to whisk it in. And remember, when you get done with this sauce, you do want to refrigerate it. If you want to warm it back up, I just stick it in the microwave for a couple of seconds. And now while my blondies are still cool, still warm, not hot, but warm, I'm gonna make me one, and then we'll try it. I don't have me that big of a piece, so I don't want to spoil my dinner. But I did put a little ice cream. I'm going to spoon over a little bit of this sauce.
Need a safety. I'm about ready to tell them to take that snowboard down, dude.
Oh my goodness, this is so good. This is real good. If you make it, let me know. And you don't need a lot of the sauce because it is rich. But anyway, I hope you enjoy.